Alright guys, such a comic again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The CDL is officially back tonight. No map set changes going into these major qualifiers after all the drama in recent days. Dashy is not especially happy about it, calling out some of the other pros for leading to this scenario. But also OpTic scrimmed against the Los Angeles Thieves last night. The new Thieves were Nero. Thieves have been a pretty good scrim partner to OpTic so far this year. Last night was no exception. Very much enjoyed your thoughts on the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. A few things to start off with. We're going to begin here because these are the SMG and AR pyramid. Just wanted to kind of go through them, what has changed after Major 1 going into Major 2. Still, Simp, JoeDeceives, Neptune. I think you could argue Neptune could be number 1. Probably giving it to Simp for now. Shotzzy bumps up quite a lot after his good LAN performance. 04 drops down a couple of rungs. This is what we looked at on the AR side. Merc back to number 1. Although, you know, still, he's just been so phenomenal. It's kind of tough to say otherwise, despite Sib and Ghosty, of course, winning the event. Rencor comes up 1. Celium goes down 1. Could Abuzah be higher? You know, I think there's a good argument for Abuzah to be in the second tier, but then, like, who do you replace him for, right? I think that is the major challenge here. Dashy, Scrap, Drazah, Super, all in tier 4. That, I imagine, could well change over time. Speaking of Mercules, he's placed top 4 or better now at his first 5 pro lands, and that is a very exclusive club of individuals who have ever done that. Even Shotzzy and Illy, they did it on their first 5, but you got to think that was Modern Warfare 19. There were 8 team LAN events. It was easier to get top 4. You just had to make the final 4 bracket effectively. So really, we're looking at some comparisons to properly back in the day. Big Timer holds the all-time record here at 15 in a row. Absolute legends. Merc at 14, JCap at 9, and then it's Rambo and John tied here. So if Mercules comes top 4 again with OpTic at the upcoming major in Birmingham, which is still quite a while away, then he will be tied, or he'll move ahead of the tie. He'll be 4th all-time on his own. There's still a bit of a way to go to get ahead of Cap, Merc and Big T, of course, but it is quite the exclusive list in COD history. Now, the Mapset drama has caused lots of talk in recent days. Apparently, the CDL have told the teams that for some reason, the maps that needed to go in order to bring in Saki or whatever else they were going to do to the pool had to be either Scar, Den or Expo. It seems that the CDL doesn't like, for some reason, there being a triple of one map, so they were like mandating that if anything were to be gone, it would have been one of those 3. Now look, Scar Search, not a big fan of that. I think that can go. Not a massive fan of Expo. I don't think it's great to watch. I think Expo's okay, but it's not great. But also, you know, they're playing Blackheart here against FaZe in the background. This is arguably a map that should go, but apparently the league says no because it's unique or something. It's super confusing because last year the league was so gung-ho about making changes to the map pool, and I've been very frustrated about it in recent days. I'm not going to bring up Patrick Bateman again today, although it's kind of tempting. But look, as he says, the CDL don't like it. We're trying to get good maps in the league, but the league has basically said no, requested not to do it. So look, Dashy's going to be frustrated about the players, and I get that. But, you know, you can see why I'm frustrated at the league here. Crowder says, coach of FaZe, the pros were not the reason for maps being taken out last year. It was done by the amount of time a map was vetoed, which was not necessarily a good idea, as we discussed in the past. And clearly there was some pushback on that, so maybe the reaction, seemingly, from the league is like, okay, we won't do anything at all. This year, if a map had to go, it would have been either Scar, Den or Expo, only because those are the only maps in all 3 modes. The reason why a map should be in or out should be due to how it plays competitively. The pros don't make these types of decisions, and, you know, that's the thing. I don't understand why. Again, it's like, why not? Like, why is it necessary that it has to be Scar, Den or Expo that go because they're in for all 3 modes? Why is that a thing? And also, you could argue, why not just add it in without taking anything else, right? Could we do that? It's not impossible. I know that 6 maps or whatever, they like to tend to have odd numbers because it's easier for vetoes, but it's not an absolute be-all and end-all necessarily. You know, could we not add Saki without taking anything out? It's also possible, no? Tell me why it's not possible. So, anyway, we've not had anything for the league on that yet. I will share this clip in a second with a couple of other ones, especially after this Thieves scrim, where Dashy's talking about Colossus Search. Not a big fan of that map. Yes, Neptune had the crazy clutch, but should it stay in the map pool? I'm somewhat ambivalent. And Dashy says, look, the map's super crooked. 5 years ago, the players, you know, this map would never have flown. The players just never speak up about it for some reason. So Dashy says, look, the pros are at fault to a large extent. The league obviously has played their part in this drama as well. Couple of roster things. There has been some questions on what Stallions are going to do. And they were trying out Cal and some of these other players and having some decent success. The question, of course, at this point in the season, often with these roster formations, comes down to what does the pro points look like? And often that can be one of the key challenges, because not only have you got to figure out a roster that could do well and potentially win, but you've also got to make sure that the team has enough pro points, because that team would be 22nd NA seed, which means that in the elite qualifier, that's problems, right? So they would need some big placements to make it work. Not impossible, for sure, but it's certainly something to think about, that when you form rosters at this point in the season, pro points often are a key point of contention. But the big scrim that people were really talking about last night, OpTic played FaZe as well, but people wanted to know how OpTic were going to get on against the new Los Angeles Thieves. Neum is in for Kenny. Is it improving their team? Is it not? Look, we know that Thieves, even with Kenny, they scrimmed OpTic well in the past. They've beaten OpTic in scrims earlier on this season. This, though, was a competitive set, and Neum, well, people were looking at Neum's numbers and all that type of stuff. Scrap had 2 minutes in the hill on Black Card. Absolutely unheard of. But, yes, there were some competitive maps in this series. I don't think these screenshots we're going to show entirely in order, but I believe they are all the maps that they played. So Dashy has a good map, 141 in 31. Shotzzy and Huke actually don't, which is a little bit interesting given it is, you know, Black Card. You'd expect the SMGs to have a better time here. That was a 250, 203 or 202, I think, to the Thieves on that one. This was 250 to 203 on the Den. Mercules has an uncharacteristically shocking map here, which you're not going to see very often. You can probably flip those numbers around when we go back to LAN. But a good map there from Thieves. OpTic then won the Colossus, and it was, again, a very competitive map here. So, yeah, it's interesting to see. HyDra had 2.5 minutes in the hill here. I always find it fascinating, especially watching hardpoint scrims, who's getting the hill time, because on OpTic it's kind of what you might expect, really. You've got Dashy soaking most of the time, Merc isn't too far behind, but I've never seen HyDra 2.5 minutes in the hill, so maybe Thieves are playing around with something in terms of their strategy here. Even on this map, they lost at 250, 126 on the exposure. HyDra's still got 1 minute 20, but this time Scrap has no time. So, of course, on a given map situation, HyDra might just find himself in the hill more often. But if you look at the average numbers, HyDra and Scrap have basically the lowest hill time in the whole league. And their teammates, traditionally, at least last year, Ghosty and Envoy, had the highest hill time in the whole league. That was their whole strategy. With Kenny, that wasn't really working. For HyDra and Scrap to just totally do their own thing and try and let aBeZy and Kenny soak the time, that wasn't really going to plan. I'm not sure they've changed their philosophy entirely, but again, you see they played the Scar. They lost at 250, 225 here to OpTic, but, you know, HyDra's got 1 minute 20, Scrap's got 50 seconds, so at least it's relatively even across the board. So just something to keep in mind there, really, when it comes to the Thieves. The other notable developments, though, was on Overload. So they played Overload. This is on the Den. It was Thieves that took the dub on this one. They played the Exposure as well, and OpTic won this one 5-3. Neum had it was probably like his only really difficult map of the entire stint, to be honest. And then there was the Scar that they lost 4-2. Now, there has been lots of talk about the new Overload, the changes they've made to it, the spawns have changed, and it has affected the way the game mode plays to such an extent, actually, that Karma was commenting, thanks to Raccoon, by the way, for all these screenshots, he commented on the Reddit to say, they've ruined the game mode, it plays terribly. So, yeah, Karma's not happy, he wants that reverted. Again, I feel like this is a thing that we talk about every year, that after Major 1, they do some sort of patch update, and with the intention to improve the game, but actually it makes the game worse. So there are multiple reasons right now why there are frustrations from multiple angles at the state of Call of Duty. But anyway, back in business tonight, and Formal's commenting on the fact that David Carbabalo's in his chat rather than listening to the boys play.
I'm not tripping. I saw where the bombs are at. I saw how the map plays out. It actually makes sense. Like, okay, sure, we don't have to play for hardpoint, but you're telling me Colossus is better? A map that's literally fucking crooked?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bro. If I tilt my monitor to the left, it actually angles my fucking...
Bro, that's just crazy. You know how many times I loaded into that map and I go...
No, literally. I can't believe we're playing... Bro, this map would never be a thing 5 years ago. Even with the same map we have right now. It's just the pro players that are in the chat are just... None of them actually speak up. That's what I think.
So like for
Focus has been shooting every map though.
What do you think about vibe coding? I think it's
Oh
cool,
my
but
God.
Oh my Jesus
you
Christ.
still kind of need to know a certain
my God.
extent.
Jesus, man.
Debug shit,
That's
like
not
what
good.
the fuck could be going
We
wrong.
had a conversation,
So I think it's a
Tom,
balance.
like,
I think it is
2
really
years ago about how we just
effective, though. Like, it can be effective.
Just God.
Oh my God.
Now we have all these Fortnite players coming
Fortnite
to play
streak.
COD. Oh well,
Apparently Fortnite's ass now.
Mason just said never cruise again.
they kind of fucking the esports. Thing.
Is that a fucking threat? Oh my god.
Oh well.
Come on.
Wait, you heard what he
Scrappy.
Peter said?
Yeah.
Cruising sucks.
I'm just picturing him saying it, bro.
too.
Never cruise again, bro.
Fucking, we're getting ran. This is probably the time where we should lock out. Like, even the coaches. I see Damon in here. Damon, can you fucking coach the boys? Can you just fucking coach them? You just sit there all day with your feet up, just farming fucking RuneScape fucking capes and shit? The hell do you do all day?
Teamwork with Kyler here. Taco
Like, what was your last message?
Never.
You already know how it ends,
Well,
dot.
Just on time.
What
One's
the
on time.
fuck are you talking about? The fuck do you get paid for, Damon? Like, gonna be like, Damon, what happened in the back? They're gonna be like, I don't know. Bruce probably. I mean, Ant's not shooting back.
The CDLO is back tonight, and we have plenty of games over these upcoming weeks. So this is a big qualifier run. As I've said yesterday, effectively many of the top teams will treat these like online scrims, which is kind of what they are in the run up to Birmingham. We just had a great major in Dallas, and unfortunately it's going to be quite some time until we see that again. Regardless, there's a Thunder from Down Under episode. It's back following the story of Pred behind the scenes at the Falcons. aBeZy put this one together. Looking forward to watching this when it premieres today. But this is how the matches look. So tons of games, 3 matches today, 4 matches on the other couple of days. Actually, if I show it here, it'll be a little bit messed up because that's technically Sunday morning because it's UK time. But let's have a look at this. So OpTic Boston, that's your first game of tonight. So Boston didn't decide to make any changes in the end. They certainly could have done. There was rumours that they were considering it, but they did not in the end. So OpTic need a strong start. We saw their run the other day. Of course, you need to get top 6 in this qualifier stint if you want to make it for sure into winners bracket at the major in Birmingham. And they have the easy games first, effectively. Not to say that Boston or G2 should be massively easy, but if you look at OpTic's upcoming run of games, you'll find that their games only get harder, at least in theory. You never know what teams they're going to play and who's going to do well, but their first games are Boston, G2, Heretics, Cloud9. You know, if they could go 4-0 there, theoretically, that'd set them up real nicely because their final games, you know, FaZe, Ravens online, Gentamates, Falcons, Koi. So it theoretically gets a little bit harder. But again, every team plays all 11 teams. It just matters when you play them, right? Again, it is fair on paper because everyone plays everybody else, but also sometimes you never really know because one team might be kind of bad now, but in 5 weeks they're looking really nice. So but that's just part of the game. Toronto play Ravens. Excited to see how Ravens do back online. You know, can they replicate that pre-major one form? Obviously, they're undefeated with Exceed online still, a different story at the major. Toronto, they need to get a win on the board, really, at this point, especially if they've changed roles with CleanX and ReeaL. There's talk about Kips coming in to put some pressure on the team from the bench. That's an interesting option. Heretics play FaZe. So we'll see. Heretics, they were okay online going into the major. They were okay at the major. And now, of course, they play a top team in FaZe. So those are the games for tonight. These are the games for the rest of the weekend. OpTic play again tomorrow. And look, it's better than a 2-match day, I'll give it that. At least there's some more action over the next few days, some more storylines to emerge, some more things to talk about. But yeah, still, there's going to be a lot of COD played in the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, a lot of it is on maps that people aren't a massive fan of, and it's all online. So thanks for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
All right, well, let's say I'm a girl. How would you like riz me? Like, what's your go-to pick-up line?
All right.
We'll role play.
Make walking noise. Make walking noise.
Hey, do.
No, bro, walking noise.
Okay, I'm walking. Dun.
Make like thump.
Dun.
Nah, that she sounds a little overweight. Make it like,
Okay. Ding,
click. Yeah.
ding, click.
Excuse me, my heart.
Hey, what's
how
up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are
I saw
you?
you. I'm good, mommy. Thank you. I saw you from all the way over there, and you caught my eye.
Oh, word.
Yeah, like, what is that?
Nothing. I'm just wearing like some sheen.
No, no. Time out. You gotta say. Oh yeah, actually, keep going.